You know this bird, that flash of red at the feeder every morning, that clear, loud whistle cutting through the backyard. 7 states chose it as their official bird. 2 professional sports teams carry its name. It is on Christmas cards, winter decorations, and living room paintings across the entire country. You think you know everything about it. You don't, because the Northern Cardinal is hiding something, and today we're going to show you what it really is. The red that comes from food. That red, the vivid, unmistakable red that makes the Northern Cardinal one of the most recognized birds in America, is not permanent. It has to be earned every single year. The male cardinal has no red pigment in its body. It cannot produce red. Instead, it gets its color entirely from what it eats. Fruits, berries, and insects rich in carotenoid pigments that are processed through the feathers during the annual molt. If a male cardinal stops eating the right foods, its feathers fade. The red becomes dull, washed out, brownish. A poorly fed cardinal is a pale cardinal. But here's the part that surprises everyone. Some Northern Cardinals are not red at all. They are yellow. A rare genetic condition called xanthochrysm causes certain individuals to produce yellow pigment instead of red, resulting in a fully yellow cardinal with the same shape, crest, and song as the red ones, but an entirely different color. When a yellow cardinal appears in someone's backyard, it becomes a national news story in the birding world. That is how rare it is. A bird whose most famous feature is a color it has to eat to keep and can lose entirely. The female who sings. In most songbird species, the female doesn't sing, she listens. The male performs, she chooses. The Northern Cardinal breaks this rule completely. The female cardinal sings, and she is one of the most vocal female songbirds in all of North America. She has her own repertoire of over 24 distinct songs, as complex and as loud as the males. But she doesn't use them the same way. While the male sings from the top of a tree to defend territory and attract mates, the female sings from inside the nest while incubating eggs, completely hidden from view. She is singing to her mate, telling him exactly when to bring food, how much, when to stay away because a predator is nearby. The male reads every call and responds accordingly, bringing food on her signal, keeping his distance when her warning calls come, adjusting his behavior to her instructions throughout the entire nesting cycle. The female cardinal does not wait to be fed. She directs the entire operation from inside the nest, running the family through song without ever being seen. The bird that fights its own reflection. Every spring, something strange begins happening at windows and car mirrors across the eastern United States. A male cardinal appears, finds his reflection, and attacks it. Not once, not twice, for hours, day after day, sometimes for weeks. The cardinal sees the reflection, identifies it as a rival male invading his territory, and cannot be convinced otherwise. He charges the glass, pecks at the mirror, flies at the window repeatedly, then lands. Stares at his reflection and does it again. One female was documented attacking her own reflection every day for 6 months without stopping. Scientists believe this happens because spring triggers such an intense hormonal response for territory defense that the bird's aggression system essentially overrides its ability to learn from experience. Every morning, the reflection is there. Every morning, the cardinal attacks it, and no amount of repeated failure changes the behavior, because the hormone driving it resets overnight. A bird so committed to defending its territory that it will fight an enemy that doesn't exist every single day for half a year. The secret name. The name cardinal has nothing to do with birds. It comes from the Roman Catholic Church. When European settlers arrived in North America and saw the male's vivid red plumage and pointed red crest for the first time, they were immediately reminded of the Catholic cardinals of Rome, the senior clergy who wore distinctive scarlet robes and red caps as a mark of their rank. The bird was named after the men, not the other way around, and it gets more specific. The black mask that surrounds the male's face and throat. Scientists believe it functions as a signal of dominance. The larger and darker the mask, the more dominant the male. Other cardinals read this signal instantly. A male with a large, well-defined black mask will be challenged less frequently and win more territorial disputes than one with a smaller, faded mask. The bird named after princes of the church is itself wearing a uniform that determines its rank among its own kind. And a group of Northern Cardinals has an official collective name, not a flock, not a group, a college, a conclave, or a Vatican. Before we continue, where in the United States are you watching this from? Write your state in the comments. And tell us, do you have Northern Cardinals in your backyard? Have you ever seen one attacking its own reflection? Subscribe to Birdwatching TV Every week, the most remarkable birds in America, explained clearly and accurately. Now let's keep going. The Conquest of the North. In 1929, ornithologists in New England described the Northern Cardinal as rare, a southern bird, limited mostly to the states below the Mason-Dixon line. By 1955, scientists were reporting that it was pushing northward. Today, the Northern Cardinal is found across the entire eastern half of the United States and into southern Canada, in Maine, in Minnesota, in Michigan, in places where it was completely unknown a century ago. It didn't migrate there, it expanded. The drivers were human. Warming temperatures, suburban development replacing dense forest with gardens and shrubs the cardinal prefers, and most critically, the spread of bird feeders. The cardinal does not migrate and does not depend on insects the way most songbirds do. Its diet is mostly seeds, which means a bird feeder in a New England winter is everything it needs to survive a season that previously would have killed it. Every feeder installed in the northeastern United States over the last 100 years moved the cardinal's range a little further north, a bird that expanded its territory not through evolution or climate alone, but because millions of Americans decided to put seeds outside their windows. The prisoner that became illegal. In the 1800s, the Northern Cardinal was one of the most popular cage birds in the United States. Its brilliant red color, its complex song, and its ability to thrive in captivity made it one of the most sought-after birds in the country. Cardinals were trapped, sold, and kept in homes and parlors across America and exported to Europe in large numbers, where they were equally prized. By the early 1900s, the trade had grown large enough to raise serious concern about the species' future. In 1918, the Migratory Bird Treaty Act made it illegal to trap, sell, keep, or harm a northern cardinal in the United States. No license, no exception. A protected species under federal law. Today it is illegal to own a northern cardinal in America. The same bird that was once sold openly in markets across the country. The same bird now sitting at your feeder is a federally protected species that cannot be touched. A bird that went from commodity to protected species in a single generation. The kiss that seals the bond. The Northern Cardinal's courtship has one moment that no other bird quite replicates. The male approaches the female, he picks up a seed, and he feeds it to her. Beak to beak, directly, gently, face to face. Scientists call it courtship feeding. Birders call it the cardinal kiss. It is not just symbolic. The male is demonstrating that he is capable of finding food and bringing it to her. A direct preview of the behavior he will need to maintain throughout the entire nesting season when the female stays on the eggs and he provides everything she needs. If he is a good provider during courtship, he will be a good provider during nesting. The female is reading his behavior as a direct assessment of his quality as a mate. After the pair bonds, this feeding continues. Mated cardinal pairs are regularly seen at feeders feeding each other, the male picking up a seed and passing it directly to the female long after courtship is over. Not because he has to, just because the behavior continues. A bird whose version of a first date is bringing food, and whose version of a long marriage is never stopping. The Northern Cardinal you see every morning is not what you thought it was. It is a bird whose red color has to be eaten to exist. A female who runs the family from inside the nest through song. A male who fights his own reflection for months without learning. A bird named after the princes of a church, wearing a uniform that determines its own rank. A species that conquered the American North because of bird feeders. A former prisoner turned federally protected species. And a bird whose version of love is feeding its partner beak to beak. For life. It has been at your feeder this whole time, living all of this every day right outside your window. Now you know what you've been looking at. Which of these facts surprised you the most? Write it in the comments and tell us where in the United States you're watching from. Subscribe to Birdwatching TV. Every week, the most remarkable birds in America, explained in a way you won't forget. Keep your eyes on the sky. Every bird has a secret. Come back and we'll tell you another one.